Hi everyone, so I'm really excited because recently I received a new vice for the workshop and I thought it might make an interesting video to share with you my decision making process and how I got to decide on the vice that's in front of me. But before I do that, I have to share with you what I've been using up until this point, and then it will make my decisions also much clearer. I've been using this small little vice for many years. It's cheap and cheerful. I mean, you've seen it in many of my videos. But what I like about it is the fact that it's small, it's compact, it's easy to maneuver, easy to set up. I actually use it till this very day for smaller components that I have. I just need a quick setup. This vice is still perfect for that. It had two big issues, and the first is the fact that this vice is very narrow and it didn't open, the jaw didn't open very fast, so that limited me on the size of the components I could do operations of. I then upgraded to the bigger vice. That obviously solved the width and the amount that the jaw can open perfectly. What I didn't like about this vice and still don't like is the fact that it's extremely heavy and it's very difficult to maneuver. Not so much to set up, but it's just difficult to handle. As we know, you solve two problems and you create the issue for yourself, and that's unfortunately exactly what happened with the bigger vice. Although I now had a bigger vice, a wider and bigger opening, inadvertently I created the issue for myself on my Z-axis travel, because this surface is much higher than the smaller vice. Now that meant that some of the jobs I wanted to do, the taller jobs, I couldn't. As many of you will know, in the CNC router world, your Z travel is really prime real estate. And some of the jobs was just too high for the spindle or for the tool to clear, so I couldn't do those. And I guess that limitation, that last limitation, is bringing me back to the vice I settled on. And one of the requirements I had was I wanted to buy from a company, a reputable company that's been in a business for a long time, that I can trust. And GERARDI has been around for many, many years. So I'm happy with that. The second thing is I wanted to get the lowest profile vice I could, obviously within budget. And the GERARDI is actually 5 millimeters lower than what used to be the case in my small vice. So in my view, that was a total score. The other problem that this vice solved partially is the fact that it could open bigger, the jaw. I wanted something that opened even further. So what I did is I looked at all the jobs I did in the last year and a half, and this opening, the amount the jaw can open, sits perfectly with my second and some of my first operations. So that problem is solved. Now, if there is a requirement in future where I need to manufacture larger components, I will get a longer vice that I can mount in my Y-axis. And obviously, I've now bought into the GERARDI ecosystem, so I'll just get a GERARDI for my Y-axis. I also wanted something that's compact and small. This vice is actually, I haven't measured it, but this vice feels lighter than the bigger one I have on this side. So, you know, it is the compactness. I just love something that's compact. It's non-complicated, it's compact, easy to set up and easy to use. And also the fact that it clears my upright completely. It's very narrow at the end here. It's really just perfect for what I want. Other thing I wanted is quick change jaws. Now this might seem insignificant, but for me it is quite significant. GERARDI do make a lot of accessories for their vices. This is a serrated. You can buy soft jaws if you want, or the normal flat jaws. I am going to make my own soft jaws. So I like the fact that there's a lot of accessories available. The other thing I was looking for is modular, and the fact that, I'm going to call this the end stock, the fact that you can remove it from there and mount it in the middle. and you get two of these mounted from the other side, it basically turns this into two vices. Now, if you've been following me on Instagram, you'll know that I do a lot of small components and second operations on small components. And what I love here is the fact that I can now mount, if I have multiple components, small components, I can mount it on both sides, and I can process with, let's say, a G54 and a G55, I can process two sets instead of just one set. So that, in my view, the modularity of this vice is, you know, it was on my wish list for a long time. Let me just say it like that. So I'm really happy with the purchase. I haven't used this vice yet. I've set it up, it's indicated. I have the slots where it's indicated on my machine, on my spoiler board. Once I start to use it, I will make a video. I've used it a little bit. I'll make a video and say what I think of it. And I guess in that, I want to leave you with some closing thoughts. And this is especially geared towards the people just starting off. You don't need the latest and greatest and biggest and best to do a job. You really just need something basic. You know, I've seen one too many times, and I've also made that mistake in my life, is where you tell yourself, I just need that. I just need something bigger or better before I can do this and that. We sometimes use so many excuses not to do something. The fact is, we only really need to show the willingness, and we need to pitch up, and then great things happen to us. You know, I hope that serves as a bit of inspiration for somebody who just starts off and saying, well, I don't have enough. Just pitch up and be consistent. I'll see you in the next video.